this chapter, we're going to talk about the price testing. How do you making sure that the price that you have been set up is the right price for you? And apart from the price, they have a lot of other components as well when you're doing your pricing. Let's start with the first example of price testing that Economist, which is one of the newspaper, have been using in order to increase their sales volumes. As you know, in newspaper industry, people are moving from the hard copy to the print copy to the web and the e-letter subscription. So how do you going to make sure that you still get exactly the same revenue while the market is changing? One of the Israel professor is doing that by they have been putting up one of advertising with two options. The first option is the economic subscription with 1 year subscription, and another part is the print and the web subscription. Once you have two subscriptions with different price, they're saying that 68% of the people select the lower price, which is the normal subscription, rather than having both print and web subscription at higher price. So now what they do is they actually build the new, just to test in the market. So they build the new subscription, where instead of 2 menu, they have a 3 menu or option, where you have economic subscription, exactly the same price at $59, print subscription as $125, and print and web subscription as $125. So now the people is shipping from 16% choosing from 68% choosing an option 1, which is lower price, to choosing an option 2 and option 3, and that actually make the average revenue per user changing from 80 to 115. So once they have these test results, so they are making sure that changing the price and the way of communication that price to the customer actually going to help them to increase their average revenue per user as well. Another thing that we have to think of when doing a pricing, we have the price setting, we have the price testing. The testing also needs to link with other areas as I just mentioned. For an example, if you are in hotel business, you are looking at the revenue management components, which showing here is not only the pricing, but also how do you going to distribute your price, communicate and distribute your booking. Are you going to do it online? Do you have the different price in the different distribution channel? For an example, do people who walk into the hotel get booking right away at the front desk get different price than people who using a website like Agoda to booking? What would be the forecast or the seasonality demand that affect your price? What would be the historical information on the booking that you have in your business intelligence or the data warehouse? What would be the communication they are using? For an example, in here you will see the communication, and if you're coming back with us, you get 15% off. That's kind of the way to communicate and encourage people to come back into the hotel. What is your management strategy for this year? Are you going to focus a lot on CRM, where we will be talking a lot towards the one-stop distribution, the sales profitability, the customer retention, the winning strategy compared to other competitors of the hotel in this area? What would be the management direction and strategy for you to follow this year? So this is not only a pricing that you are looking at when you're testing the products, but also considering a lot of implementation, a lot of components that you also have as well. Another method that is quite famous in pricing that I would like to introduce you to is called Conjoint Analysis. They have a lot of books on Conjoint Analysis out in the market, but I just picked the easy concept here just to help you having an idea. I just mentioned earlier that apart from the pricing, there are also a lot of components towards the decision making when you considering to buy one of the service and the product. For an example, if you want to buy one laptop, you might walk looking at what kind of brands of that laptop, what is the processor, what is the RAM, what is the monitor, and what would be the price for that. So not only pricing, but also the brand, processor, RAM, and monitor. We call it as the attribute, which is the main factor for you to consider. And we call in each attribute, they also have, let's say for an example, they have the brands with 3 brands here, they're showing here, HP, Dell, and Sony. In each brand that you have is called the label. So the label is the choice between the possible offer that been out to the market. So if you know the key decision when they're considering to buy your product, and also what would be the label, which is the choice of the possibility product, what are you looking at next is you are making the choice cards. For example, you can see the 4 choice cards showing in this photo here. In each choice card, they have list of attributes that needed and 1 level in each attribute that have been selected to the choice card. For here, you will see the example of the credit cards where the customer can pick and select 1 out of 4 of these choice cards. In here, they might select MasterCard because they feel like the accepted purchase insurance and the travel insurance is much more suit them rather than other things. And if once you launch this kind of market research out in the market, what you get at the end is you get the preference on what would be the preference towards the brand, towards the price, or towards your product and service for each individual customer, and as well as at the total you get the forecast market share of that. This is a very famous method, and a lot of companies after they having that method, they are using it and apply it as the price gaming with the management to get more alignment and engagement among the team for that. How do you do the price gaming workshop? Is very easy. You start with providing the breakdown of yourself and the competitor in the market. Then you seeking for the understanding on how the competitor thinks and what they might respond for that. After that, you set up the scenario, break it down people into the team, and then you see using a conjoint to see what would do the preference or the market share in each scenario. Why we are doing that? Because once you're doing that, you're not only testing what would be the right price in the market from the conjoint and other method I just mentioned, but you're also testing after I launch those kind of price, what would be the competitor response toward that. In the next section, we are going to talk about when you launch the real price in the market, what would be the right communication that you can use. Thank you.